Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shri Gurudev Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gorkshodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nugogoriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jīva Gopāla-campūḥ Dasa Śrīla Gosvāmi Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanantari Shri Gopāla-campūḥ Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ki Jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Yashoda Damodar Ki Jai. Shri Radha Damodar Ki Jai. Shri Damodar Vrat Ki Jai. Kartik Vrat Niyam Seva Ki Jai. Urja Vrat Ki Jai. Urjeshwari Raseshwari Shivashavananandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani Ki Jai. Shri Dāma-bandhana-nibandhanam Ki Jai. Shri Satyavrat Muni Ki Jai. Śrī Gopāla-campūḥ Ki Jai. Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmipāda Ki Jai. Shri Madhukanta Snigdhakanta Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Vo. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranams Nri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji and Kishore Krishna Prabhu. And let's see on YouTube and Facebook. Let's see who's there. Karuna Didi and Ganga Mataji. And I see there are a couple other people. A few other people. Haribol, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Alright, so I started 5 minutes late because I had to eat an orange to wake myself up. I was falling asleep during the kirtan session. Yeah, so today is going to be a very special reading. We're reading from Gopāla-campūḥ. This is from the appendix of Śrī Dāma-bandhana-nibandhanam. So the day before yesterday, we finished Dāma-bandhana-nibandhanam. We finished a commentary of Śrīla Sanatana Goswami and my Śrīla Gurudev. And now, we will begin reading from the appendix of this book, which is, let me share my screen. Okay, so it's called, one second, let me just move this up. One second, let me do it. Okay, so we're reading, it's Dāma-bandhana-nibandhanam, the determination to bind Sri Krishna with rope, and Yamala-arjuna-mocanam, the deliverance of the twin Arjuna trees. This is from the chapter 8 of Śrī Gopāla-campūḥ, pūrva division, by Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmipāda. And before, Haribol Krishna Mai Didi. Before we begin reading, there's an excerpt from the biography written by my Śrīla Gurudev about Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj, his life and teachings, that book. So, my Gurudev says, once during the month of Kartik, Śrīla Gurupad Padma had brought his noble presents to Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math. One day, while he was sitting in his bhajan kutir chanting Harinam, absorbed in transcendental emotions, I had sat down nearby and was silently reading the chapter on Śrī Dāma-bandhana-nibandhanam from Śrī Gopāla-campūḥ. As I read, I became completely fascinated with Śrīla Jīva Goswami's beautiful description of this pastime. Finally, unable to restrain myself, I ran over to Śrīla Gurudev and said, Śrīla Jīva Goswami was a Mahapurush, a most exalted personality, and an unrivaled philosopher. At the same time, he was a transcendental rasic poet whose work is eloquent, touching, and descriptive. Although such a combination of vast erudition and poetic artistry is rarely found in this world, when we read his narration of Śrī Dāma-bandhana-nibandhanam, we see the two unified in an astonishing manner. I began to read that description aloud. As I neared the end of the story, my Śrīla Gurudev suddenly began weeping. An incessant flow of tears cascaded down his cheeks, and other symptoms of spiritual ecstasy were clearly visible in his form. I have only seen such an expression of extraordinary spiritual emotions once or twice in my life. Wow. So now we're going to read that Śrī Dāma-bandhana-nibandhanam, which caused my Pradam Gurudev to go through all these ecstatic symptoms. Okay. Dāma-bandhana-nibandhanam, Yamala-arjuna-mocanam. From chapter 8 of Gopāla-campūḥ by Jīva Gosvāmipāda. Editor's note. Every morning before Sri Krishna takes the cows out to graze, an assembly of Vrajavasis gather together at Sri Nanda Baba's palace. For the pleasure of Sri Nanda Baba and his 4 brothers, as well as for Sri Krishna, Sri Balaram, and the other Vrajavasis, Snigdha-kanta and Madhu-kanta narrate Krishna's pastimes. What these twin brothers narrated one day is about to be described. Okay, so right now we are in Nanda Baba's palace in the assembly of the Vrajavasis in the morning before Krishna takes the cows out to graze. Okay, one second. Just... Oh, Hare Krishna Raj Bhuvan Yadav ji. Haribol. Okay. The next morning, in that assembly, when all the Gopas who were part of the Vaishya community had gracefully taken their seats, Shri Snigdha-kanta began. The month of Kartik was nearing conclusion. Okay, so this is Snigdha-kanta speaking now. The month of Kartik was nearing conclusion. Early one morning, Shri Yashoda gladly beheld her sleeping little Gopal, whose eyes, now closed, resembled two blue lotus flowers. Mother Yashoda contentedly gazed upon her child and began to gently and lovingly stroke him with her hands, which are as soft as fresh budding leaves. When she noted with relief that he was again in deep sleep, she slowly and silently left his bedside. She entered the courtyard on her own, tied her cloth tightly around her, and started churning some yogurt to use in her home. Today, on the affectionate and insistent invitation of Sri Nanda Maharaja's elder brother Sri Upananda, Sri Rohini Devi, accompanied by her son Baladev, mounted a magnificent chariot and went to his home. The maidservants were also coming and going while performing their different services. There was quite a lot to do because the month of Margashirsha, the topmost month of the year, was approaching, and the annual festival of Indra Puja, which is observed by the people in general and which has long been celebrated in traditional culture, was at hand. Wow, it's so neat. We're reading about this pastime right now on the day that this pastime took place. Right? The Indra Puja that they were about to observe, which ended up becoming Govardhan Puja, it's just now approaching here in Vrindavan. So yeah, we get to, and wasn't it? It was on Deepavali. Yeah, today it's Deepavali now, and that's when Mother Yashoda, she sent all the maid servants home to right, and she turned the yogurt herself. So when all the maid servants were thus engaged in their respective tasks, the Queen of Vraj, Śrī Yashoda, personally set to churning the yogurt with great care. To encourage her son's pleasant slumber, she sang sweetly as she churned. Absorbed in thoughts of Sri Krishna, with her mind and her soul fully offered to him, she sang detailed descriptions of his childhood pastimes, as her eyes admired his lovely face. Srila Shukadeva Goswami has mentioned this in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.2. Am I still connected to the internet? Think so. Just checking though, because the power just went out. Let me just do a speed. Oh, actually, Kishore, can you hear me right now?
All right, yeah, 100%.
Okay, great. That's so much better. In Navadip, every time the power goes out, the internet goes out. So great that doesn't happen here. Okay. When all the maidservants were thus engaged in their respective tasks. Okay. So, I'm sorry, I already read that. Srila Shukadeva Goswami has mentioned this in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.2. He says, one day, when all the maidservants were engaged in various tasks, Śrī Yashoda, the wife of Sri Nanda, personally began to churn yogurt. At that time, songs about Sri Krishna's childhood pastimes came to her mind, and she began to sing them. As dark-complexioned Vrajeshwari Śrī Yashoda churned, her arms repeatedly moved back and forth. A series of girdles embedded with jewels encircled her waistcloth, and beautiful bangles adorned her arms. Her ornaments sounded in time with the vigorous movement of her waist and arms. Meanwhile, her son drowsily opened his eyes a little. As Sri Vrajeshwari beheld the charm of his lotus face, she turned with greater intensity and sang. Okay, I have no idea how to sing this. Gokulapati kula tilakang tamasiha krita sukrita vraja rachita sukha vraja nayana nandi samiha. Oh my darling son, you are the crest ornament of the dynasty of Gokulpati Sri Nanda Maharaj. The Vrajvasis must have performed greatly pious acts to witness you bringing joy to their hearts. Your activities delight the eyes of all. I think we should take this out, this Sri Nanda Maharaj, because Yashoda would never say the name of her husband. She'd just say the dynasty of Gokulpati. And then maybe that could be in rounded brackets or something. Parentheses, I mean. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the Vrajvasis must have performed greatly pious acts to witness you bringing joy to their hearts. Your activities delight the eyes of all. Anandodbhava janma, Anandodbhava janma mahotsava, Nandita gopa samaja, Putanika mriti Nava mangala kriti Valita Valayita Gokula Raja Gokula Pati Kula tilakam tamasiha. You rouse the joy of the cowherd community by the blissful festival of your birth, and by the recent and auspicious act of killing Putana, you have spread the glory of your father, the king of Gokul, far and wide. Dharya nivartana, shakata vivartana, anubhavyena parita, satrena vartaka, vayu nivartaka, parameshena nita. O Gokulapati Kula Tilakam Tamasiha. After eliminating Shakatasura, who made everyone lose all composure, you are blessed by the auspicious rituals of the Brahmanas. Once again. Okay. Later, Sri Nanda's worshipful deity, Parameshwar, returned you to us after destroying Trinavarta, along with his storm. Yes, Parameshwar. Wasn't Krishna? It was Parameshwar. Madhura prangana virachitaringana Jala janayana supunya. O nana kelisho nritya kalalisho darshita varanai punya. O Gokulapati Kula Tilakam Tamasiha. O lotus-eyed incomparable deity, O lotus-eyed boy of incomparable piety, you used to crawl about on your tiny hands and knees in our charming courtyard. You have shown great expertise in playing various games and demonstrating many varieties of dance. Tarnaka balade shabalita tanvade Valaita manjula shobha Jarati nivahe kautuka kalahe Prabalita mityaloba Gokulapati kula tilakam tamasiha. When you used to grab the tails of the calves, they would run away, dragging you along. At those times, your gorgeous form was pulled through the dust and cow dung, which gave you even more enchanting splendor. While playfully quarreling with the elderly gopis, you would frivolously increase everyone's confusion through your antics. Ma mataram anusukam udvitano pratatam satatam Krishna drutamurari kuru tano vredin purukela valikrita trishna Gokulapati kula tilakam tam asiha. O Krishna, since I am your mother, forever continue to expand my already boundless joy. Quickly grow healthy and strong, and fulfill our desire by delighting our eyes with your many lively pastimes. Tribhuvana darshana Vismaya marshana Nishchita Vaishnava Maya Harivarivasya Sukadattama Syavegata. Sorry. Harivarivasya Sukadattamasya Vegata Jaramarakaya Gokulapati Tilakam. Sorry. Gokulapati Kula Tilakam Tamasiha. At first, you cause bewilderment by displaying the three worlds within your mouth. Later, however, it was understood that by doing so, you confirms the existence of Lord Vishnu's spiritual illusory potency, Vaishnavi Maya. O Krishna, may your body be free from aging and death, and may you become the bestower of bliss by serving Sri Hari. There's a footnote here where it says Vaishnavi Maya. It says, even when Sri Yashoda saw the universe within Sri Krishna's mouth, she did not regard him with awe and respect. Instead, it was shown here, she simply attributed everything to the Lord's spiritual potency, which she considered had been invoked by her and Nanda Maharaj's sincere worship. O Gokulapati Kula Tilakam Tamasiha. Jai Ho. Oh, glory, oh my darling son, you are the crest ornament of the dynasty of Gokulpati. Alright, so I just made up that melody, kind of. Yeah. Okay, so then Sri Krishna, the ocean of eternal charm, woke up and climbed down from the bed, crying. As he stretched his body, he took long breaths and rubbed his sleepy eyes. Now fully awake, he cried, Ma! Ma! Hearing the sound of the churning rod, Śrī Gopāla tottered over to his mother. Śrī Krishna, the best of the blessed and the king of beauty, stopped the rod from churning. Śrī Yashoda's motherly affection for Śrī Krishna expanded within her heart, completely filling it with the desire to cradle him. And in her mood, there was a trace of fear and grief. Fear and grief, huh? As her motherly affection surged, she fed her young child the milk that spontaneously poured from her breasts in a stream. Mother Yashoda is gracious and splendorous like the rainy season. Her breasts began to shower streams of milk that resembled a continuous downpour. And Sri Krishna, like a chatak bird, fittingly and gleefully began to drink that downpour. With great eagerness, Sri Krishna drank the milk of that blessed breasts. He had only half satisfied his hunger when Mother Yashoda noticed that the milk in the next room was boiling over. Although her child was eager for her breast milk, she immediately put him down, although it was apparently unwise of her to do so, and hastened inside to save the milk. She did not carry him as she ran, fearing that he might fall. Madhukanta interrupted. Snigdhakanta, what are you saying, my brother? That is illogical. How could it be that Sri Yashoda left her starving baby to go elsewhere? She is the faultless ideal among all loving mothers within this universe. Snigdhakanta laughed and said, My dear elder brother, just wait and listen to me attentively. In reality, her leaving her child to save the milk is also a lovely pastime of motherly affection. Madhukanta was skeptical. How? He asked. Snigdhakanta replied. In the absence of Sri Krishna, the residents of Raj see that their bodies, homes, and other possessions are more or less waning. From the day he was born, his parents, Shri Nanda and Shri Yashoda, considered that all those residents of Raj, as well as all the items used to serve Sri Krishna, have abundant mamata for him. Nanda and Yashoda considered that all those residents of Raj, as well as all the items used to serve Śrī Krishna, have abundant mamata for him. That the items also have mamata for Krishna, not just the residents. That means a feeling of possessiveness. Even Sri Brahma confirms this in his prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-35. O Śrī Krishna, the residents of Braj have completely offered their homes, their wealth, their relatives, their beloveds, their soul, their bodies, their children, their lives, and their minds, everything at your feet. How, in all fairness, could you not award them a result superior to what you awarded Putana and other demons? What can be said of the love that Śrī Krishna's own mother and father have for him? When Sri Brahma himself has glorified the love of the other Vrajvasis. All of the Vrajvasis' rich milk and yogurt, as well as their bodies, their homes, and other possessions, are exclusively meant for the service of Śrī Krishna. Thus, while serving Śrī Krishna, it is befitting to have more mamata or attachment for the objects used to serve Śrī Krishna than for Śrī Krishna himself. Thus, it is specifically understood that Mother Yashoda's intention in leaving Krishna to save the milk, that her intention was most exalted. This has been sanctioned in the scriptures that advocate bhakti. The import is that it is appropriate for Mother Yashoda to have more attachment for the objects that are dear to Śrī Krishna than for Śrī Krishna himself. Indeed, this is the eternal nature of an affectionate mother. Having concluded this, it is only fitting that Śrī Yashoda first attend to those objects used in the service of Śrī Krishna. At such times, she tolerates many personal inconveniences and remains unaware of her various household duties. With the loving mood born of her permanent emotion, her sthāyi bhav, that this is my son, she is always aware of Śrī Krishna's needs more than her own bodily. She's more aware of Śrī Krishna's needs more than her own bodily or household needs. She is always conscious of his complete dependence on her, and her perpetual attitude is, Śrī Krishna's necessities are my necessities, and fulfilling them is my sole obligation. Only the residents of Raj know what is involved in expressing this type of affection. Even when they chastise Śrī Krishna and punish him, he knows that they are just taking care of him. This is because a parent's chastisement is considered part of loving and raising their children. There is no limit to what I can say about the boundless expression of their parental affection. And if the residents of Raj feel angry with Krishna out of their affection for him, being the object of their extreme mamata, he is even prepared to undergo bondage. Just see, even fire in the form of lightning sometimes appears in dense rain clouds. There's a footnote here. It says, affection is part of the permanent emotion, is part of the sthāyi bhav of Vatsalya ras. And anger is a transitory emotion, a sanchari bhav of that ras. The superior's mood of Vatsalya ras is nourished by the transitory emotion of anger, and it is part of their affection. Just as rain clouds become charming when lightning appears in them, sometimes anger appears in those with Vatsalya ras, making their mood more charming. Actually, without anger, the mood of parenthood would not be complete. Okay. One second. Oh, Hare Krishna Vidyalalasa Didi. The evidence for the above statement is that both Mother Yashoda and her son benefit each other by their mutual love. Listen as I describe their affectionate dealings. When Mother Yashoda went to take the milk off the stove for the pleasure of her son, she first comforted him, saying, "My darling son, may all your problems and difficulties come to me. Watch this pot of yogurt for just a minute while I check on the boiling milk. I will return quickly." Just as swiftly as she put her son aside and left that churning place, she returned. But even in that time, Milk poured from her breasts out of deep motherly affection, wetting her blouse. It poured so much that it made the floor slippery. Haribol Champak Mataji. Still, Shri Krishna's wishes had been checked, and he was most perturbed. In anger, he bit his trembling reddish lips and burst into tears. Then, picking up a small grinding stone which was lying nearby, he broke the pot of that half-churned yogurt. However, he did not even get the slightest bit of butter from it. Poets have described his beauty at that time. Little Krishna's white teeth, a series of moons, were enveloped by the reddish hue reflecting from his lips. His 2 eyes, resembling restless partridges, were full of tears, and his lotus hands shone as they vigorously sloshed yogurt here and there. I like that word, sloshed. In this way, when the half-churned yogurt from the pot covered the entire floor, another type of festival manifested. Whee! Good. Just then, his eyes caught sight of a fresh pot of butter hanging from the ceiling in the adjoining room. He ran to the door, slid the latch aside, and pushed it open. Then, moving the door stopper back into place, he stepped into the room and closed the door behind him. He used a nearby cot as a step, lowered the pot of butter, and started to eat it. Thereafter, he took the remaining butter and secretly sneaked out through the window of that room. Meanwhile, Mother Yashoda had stopped the milk from boiling over into the fire. The milk cooled down to a simmer within seconds, and she took it off the stove. She dashed back to where she had left her son, only to find that he was gone. However, seeing evidence of her son's activities, she laughed in mixed anger and amusement. At first, out of suspicion, she became perturbed. But then Yogamaya manifested an aerial voice, which gave her knowledge and made her laugh. The aerial voice said, "Feeling hungry and thirsty, your little bumblebee made a hole in the bud of a lotus flower that had no pollen. When he saw that it was merely water that began dripping from that lotus flower, he became disappointed and went to another lotus flower, where he has found a big supply of honey. The import is that in order to get fresh butter, your son performed all these deeds. He first broke the churning pot, but did not find butter there, and then he found it hanging in the next room. You have displayed your intelligence by deciding to leave your baby and go cool down the milk. But if you can calm the anger of your child, then you will receive even more praise." Upon hearing the aerial voice, Mother Yashoda laughed and followed the thief's conspicuous yogurt footprints to the next room. She managed to force the doors open. Then she stepped inside, only to behold her son's other matchless mischief. Tracing his path of escape, she finally spotted him, his eyes restless with fear. Satanka netram, right? He was thinking, I have just stolen fresh butter. If my mother sees me here, how will I face her? His eyes moved about so frantically that they seemed to be on the verge of leaping into his ears. In other words, his eyes and ears were watching out for his mother. Mother Yashoda saw him sitting restless-eyed atop the grinding mortar that had been overturned with all his strength, feeding butter to the monkeys. Astonished by this, she smiled softly. She quietly crept up behind her guilty son. It is said that a wealthy person has 2 eyes, but a thief has 100. That is to say, a wealthy person has only 2 eyes to look after his treasures, but a thief has 100 to spot that person's wealth and steal it. Although a person may be extremely careful to protect his wealth, it is not inaccessible to a thief. By nature, monkeys are proud of exhibiting their strength, but today their bellies were fully satisfied. So when they saw Mother Yashoda advancing, holding a stick covered with cloth, They immediately scampered up the nearby trees. This alerted Krishna to what was happening, so he also fled. Seeing her son fleeing, Mother Yashoda broke into a run and began to chase him. A shower of flowers fell from her braid. "Oh, king of thieves," she loudly called, "where are you going? Stop! Stop!" Hearing this, Shri Krishna uttered a faint cry, and a smile appeared on his face, enhancing his beauty. Mother Yashoda ran quickly after him. Although she came close, she could not catch him. It was as if two clouds, one big and one small, were being chased by the wind from west to east across the sky, the larger cloud unable to catch up with the smaller one. Similarly, this mother could not catch her son. There's a footnote here. Here, Shri Yashoda and Shri Krishna are appropriately compared to clouds because both of their complexions are dark like fresh rain clouds. Little Krishna was confident that his mother would never pursue him beyond the main gate, for she would then be running in public. Therefore, he intentionally ran in that direction. Mother Yashoda knew that at that time of day, no one would be outside the gate, so she just kept chasing him. As long as Krishna ran without looking back, his mother was unable to catch him. But as soon as he turned his head back in fear, she caught him by his hand. He frantically moved his eyes about as if trying to continue running away. He began crying in an attempt to reduce Mother Yashoda's anger, and out of impudence, he started trembling artificially. But he did not give up his childish pranks. Whenever she forcefully held his face so that she could look him in the eye, Shri Krishna turned his face in such a way as to wipe the oily gloss of butter from his mouth and make it look dry. Threatening him, Mother Yashoda said, "Oh Krishna, you have given me so much trouble. Before you steal from your home, first look at the stick in my hand." When she saw her lotus-eyed son's terror upon hearing these words, Shri Rajeshwari tossed that stick aside. "Don't beat me, mother," Krishna beseeched her. The Queen of Raj scorned him. "But you are a thief! A thief!" Laughing to herself, she suddenly and forcefully instigated a quarrel with him. "Ah, you are the king of thieves. You are the king of chores." Krishna protested. "No, mother. Chor took birth in your dynasty, not mine." And there's a footnote here. In the dynasty of Shri Yashoda's father, there was a Gopa named Chor Ghosh. The literal meaning of chor is thief. Thus, Shri Krishna denounced Shri Yashoda's dynasty, considering himself to belong exclusively to his father's dynasty. So, "No, mother, chor took birth in your dynasty, not mine." Why would we have a chor, a thief, in our home? In this way, Mother Yashoda and her butter-stealing son argued with each other. "Oh, really? Well, who broke the pot of yogurt?" she again inquired. Krishna replied, "The Supreme Lord, he was punishing you." "But," she continued, "who fed butter to the monkeys? He who created them?" "No," she exclaimed, "I suspect that you always feast with great relish on the fresh butter we prepare for use in religious sacrifices." Mother Yashoda scolded her son as she would a thief, but finally her heart softened. She laughed with anger and said, "Just admit your theft. Give up your arrogance." Thus pressed by his mother, Shri Krishna burst into tears. "Look, Ma," he sobbed, "when you anxiously rushed to save the milk, your ankle bells struck the pot of yogurt and it broke. How is this my fault?" "And the monkeys," he continued, "were inspired by the Supreme Lord to sneak in the house to steal. When they began taking the butter, I caught them. What did I do wrong?" And then, he retorted, "the stick in your hand frightened me, so even though I am completely innocent, I fled like a thief. You saw I was so afraid, but still you mercilessly chastised me, all for no reason." Mother Yashoda spoke as if lamenting. "O you who are the king of those skilled in argument," she said, "you are the best of thieves. Although you are the son of Śrī Vrajaraj, the most noble of men, your nature has become like a monkey's, because you are so fond of them." When fearful Sri Krishna heard this, he pointed to the forest and said, "If I'm a monkey, then I'll live in the forest," which slightly frightened his mother. Who knows, she thought, this arrogant boy could easily put his threats into action. To keep him from running into the forest, I must tie him up. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for me to single-handedly manage my household duties and this child. Turning to Krishna, she openly said, "You thief! You restless boy! You who bewilder one and all by the charm of your flickering eyes! Why don't you simply accept my prohibitions? Look, I will tie you up and then quickly return to the house. If you have any strength left, you can show it to me by trying to steal something else." As she started to bind him, his eyes became moist, and in fury, he began to loudly cry out, "Oh, Mother Rohini!" He shrieked, "Where have you gone with my big brother? Because you are not here today, this mother is tying me up. Come, quickly!" Since Sri Rohini was far away, she could not hear his cries. But the ladies from neighboring homes who had previously complained about Krishna and who had chastised him did hear his cries. They informed each other of the fun that had assembled there. As if taunting her, they reminded Sri Yashoda of their complaints. "Has this thief done something mischievous in your home also?" they laughed. Mother Yashoda, however, was bent on teaching her son a lesson, so she paid no heed to their remarks. Snatching up a silk ribbon that had fallen from her braid, she immediately began binding her son's waist to a grinding mortar lying in the courtyard. With the same persistence it takes to bind the neck of a calf, she began to tie his waist to a grinding mortar. But that silk ribbon was 2 fingers too short. She took another ribbon from her hair and joined it to the first one. But still, the same problem confronted her. Amazed, she tried to bind Krishna's waist with several turning ropes that the gopis had handed her. But still, Sri Rajeshwari could not make up that gap of 2 fingers. From a distance, a cloud that is actually touching the peak of a mountain may be mistakenly perceived of being quite far beyond it. In a similar sense, although the full length of the rope was actually touching Sri Krishna, it could not bind his apparently tiny waist. The rope was always 2 fingers too short. There's a footnote here. It says, just as the cloud may appear to be far beyond the mountain's peak when seen from a distance, it appeared to everyone present there that there was so much rope being used to bind Sri Krishna that it could not have all been touching his waist. However, just as the cloud is actually touching the mountain, the full length of the rope was actually touching Sri Krishna's waist. But no length of rope could equal the actual circumference of his waist, because, in truth, it is unlimited. Observing this, the ladies of Vraj laughed and remarked, "Oh, Vrajeshwari, we already told you that this boy surely has some extraordinary illusory potency. On account of it, he even surpasses Kapalak, the foremost among thieves. He seems to be satisfied simply by eating stolen goods, or by such acts, he delights both the donors of those goods and the enjoyers of them. He is gradually gaining quite a reputation as one who steals others' possessions." It's interesting. There's a famous thief named Kapalak in Vraj, known in Vraj. Mother Yashoda responded, "What does this recently born child know about being a thief? He does not know good from bad, but it seems you are the ones who know some evil trickery. Although you actually favor him, externally you behave in a contrary way." At this the ladies laughed. "O respected Śrī Yashoda," they said, "we take an oath at your feet that we have nothing to do with these astonishing powers." Finally, Śrī Yashoda reasoned. As Gargacharya said, "Surely some potency of Sri Bhagavan surrounds my son. This infant boy cannot know what he is doing." Just to put an end to this bewilderment, Śrī Yashoda repeatedly called for more and more turning ropes from the homes of those gopis. Despite her persistence in her endeavor to bind her son, she could not find any way to accomplish the seemingly impossible task. Instead, Śrī Yashoda, the queen of Vraj, dripped with perspiration, and curls of hair fell over her face again and again. Finally, she became completely exhausted. As long as Sri Krishna, who was born in the Yadu dynasty, stubbornly refused to be bound, Mother Yashoda's persistent efforts were fruitless, just as one whose fate is grasped by an unfavorable star is always unsuccessful in his endeavors. And where it says Yadu dynasty, there's a footnote. It says, Srila Jīva Goswami has employed a simile by stating that Sri Krishna was born in the Yadu dynasty. Just as Yadu Maharaj stubbornly refused to accept the order of his father, Yayati Maharaj, similarly, Sri Krishna, who was born in the same Yadu dynasty, stubbornly refused to be bound by his mother. Okay, so Sri Krishna, he refused to be bound. Finally, Sri Krishna's heart was touched by the sight of his mother being so overwhelmed, and almost immediately she successfully bound him with the 2 ribbons she had initially used from her hair. It was clear to all present that it was only these 2 ribbons that bound Sri Krishna. The other ropes she had used to tie him simply lay there. It was actually Sri Krishna's maidservant, his Yogamaya potency, who had understood his mind and accomplished the task of binding him. This made Mother Yashoda feel that all those astonishing activities of Sri Krishna were an illusion. When that rope was finally tied tightly around Sri Krishna's waist, Mother Yashoda knotted it to another long rope, which she then tied around the middle of the grinding mortar. She had taught her son Krishna a lesson by tying him up, and then she showed him how unmoved she could be by his stubbornness. To protect him, she seated the other little boys around him, and happily went inside with the giggling gopis to complete her household chores. Within a moment of the Vraj gopis' departure, Sri Krishna manifested his pastime of crying. But he soon cheered up at the thought of pulling the grinding mortar around. He was tied up, but because he was surrounded by the other little boys, he stimulated their desire for adventure. Let's have an adventure. As he laughed and played with them, he slowly began to tug at the grinding mortar. The gopis, who had gleefully brought ropes from their homes to bind Krishna, they were now in Nanda Bhavan with Śrī Yashoda. This meant that their homes were empty. Seizing that excellent opportunity, Sri Krishna directed his friends to steal the fresh butter hanging from the ceilings of their deserted homes and then eat it. Because Sri Krishna found pulling the grinding mortar so entertaining, he never even wanted to free himself by his own hands, nor by the hands of his friends. Just then, his eyes fell on the twin Arjuna trees, which stood facing the main gate and which swayed as if dancing whenever there was a strong wind. As Sri Krishna pulled the mortar along, he eventually crawled towards the middle of the 2 trees. Just checking the comments really quick. Okay, so now he eventually crawled towards the middle of the 2 trees. At this point, Snigdhakanta, who had been loudly narrating all this with great excitement, suddenly realized, if I tell them that Sri Hari is the cause of the 2 trees falling, I will be glorifying his Aishwarya or his opulence. That would not at all be appropriate in this assembly of Vrajvasis who were absorbed in Sri Hari's Madhurya or his sweetness. I will conceal this fact and just tell them another reason why the trees fell. So Snigdhakanta continued. Just as Sri Krishna came between the trees, he became filled with eagerness to proceed further and quickly crawled between them. The passage between the trees was narrow, and he crawled away from the and as he crawled away from the mortar, became stuck. Sri Krishna jerked and tugged at the mortar with the conscious intention of breaking the rope that bound him to it. But instead, the two trees made a crackling sound as they were uprooted and came crashing to the ground, falling in opposite directions. The sound was so tumultuous that it made the Vrajvasis feel more disoriented than deaf people, and it made their minds restless. Although Sri Krishna had uprooted the twin Arjuna trees, which were more powerful than thunderbolts, amazingly, he was still unable to break the rope that embodied his mother's intense attachment and relentless determination born of Vatsalya Prem. In this regard, poets praise Sri Krishna as follows. Shamanga Duti Kinkini Dvanidaram Ringatiranga Pradam Karshachashvara Dukhalam Karakarat Kara Prakara Pratam Vispurjat Pratimarjuna Dvayat Katat Kararjitat Kautukat Paryavrita Nirikshanam Vrajavadu Lalyasya Balyam Stuve. I adore the childhood mood, the Balya Bhav of Sri Krishna, who is nurtured by the ladies of Vraj. He is gloriously situated in his childhood mood, in which his dark blue limbs are adorned by his tinkling ankle bells. He bestows the greatest bliss as he crawls on his knees and repeatedly pulls at the grinding mortar, which clatters as he drags it along. Excited by the thunderous crackling of the two falling Arjuna trees, he looks all around with his restless eyes. Terrified by that thunderous sound, all the inhabitants of Gokul fainted and remained unconscious for one danda. That's for 24 minutes. They remained unconscious. Only the children who had gathered around Sri Krishna did not faint. Being immersed in the utmost sweetness of his pastimes, they, like the figures in a painting, remained unaffected by fear. From a distance, Sri Vrajaraj and other cowherd men heard that tumultuous and terrifying sound. Fearing some calamity, they all rushed to the spot, speculating to each other along the way about what had happened. When they had reached the spot, they became overcome with fear and doubt. "Whoa, who could have uprooted these two trees?" they all cried. "There is no wind or rain, nor was there any lightning, nor has an elephant attacked them. Who has uprooted them?" Some remarked, "This is such a disaster, yet no one is here but us. Well, reasoned another, that is probably because the tumultuous sound of the crashing trees knocked everyone in Vraj unconscious. Just then, they noticed their little Gopal near the trees, a playful smile beautifying his face as he tugs the grinding mortar, freely showering the bliss of his pastimes upon all. "What happened? What happened?" they asked as they surrounded him, discussing the cause of the disaster. Seeing his father approaching from behind, little Mukunda began to cry. Although Sri Nanda Maharaj was still bewildered, he beamed a smile to pacify his darling child, and quickly untied him. Sri Nanda Maharaj kissed the face of his son Sri Krishna, who spoke to Nanda Baba while crying. And although he knew why Krishna had been bound, he repeatedly asked, "O my son, where is the wicked person who forcefully bound you to this grinding mortar?" Eventually, Krishna, who was devoted to his father, climbed into his lap. With his arms around his father's neck, his voice quivering, He slowly spoke into his ear. "Father, it was mother who bound me." When Śrī Yashoda heard the deafening crash, she fainted. After regaining consciousness, she pitifully began to repent. Sri Nanda Maharaj came to know this, and therefore he did not want to immediately question her, even in private. He did not even bother to ask the children present. What could these little infants possibly know about it, he wondered. But then the children spoke up. "Father, we saw everything ourselves. We clearly saw your son go between the trees. He saw that open space over there and wanted to play there. As he moved away from the trees, the grinding mortar became caught in between them from an angle. He tugged at the grinding mortar. Immediately the trees made a loud crackling sound and came crashing to the ground. Two divine personalities adorned with armor, crowns, and earrings emerged from the trees, their stout figures as bright as fire. After circumambulating your Krishna and offering him obeisances, they said something to please him, and then set off to the north." Sri Nanda Maharaj and others, who were completely absorbed in parental affection for Krishna, discarded the boy's words as silly prattling. Others, however, were left doubtful. All the people of Vraj came there in ones and twos, and gradually a large crowd gathered. Decorating his chest with his son, Shri Vrajaraj went with all of them to the Yamuna to finish his morning activities. He bathed in the river with his son on his lap, and after dressing, he arranged for the brahmanas to chant the Swasti Vachan, specific mantras to invoke auspiciousness in that place. Afterwards, he donated great wealth to them. He then returned to his home, ready to take his breakfast. Śrī Yashoda, the wife of Sri Nanda Maharaj, felt so sad and embarrassed that she had bound Krishna, that she refused to leave the inner chambers of the house. She could not even speak with the gopis who had come to see her. So, after they had all left, the respected Sri Rohini, who is expert in reconciling all situations, directed the head kitchen maids, who are all held in high esteem, in serving the morning meal. Beckoning Sri Vasudev's son, Sri Balaram, and his own son, Kanaya, to join him, Sri Vrajaraj ate with them in the midst of the endearing and indescribably sweet tumults they had made. He then rested for nearly half an hour with the two brothers, who were the personifications of supreme bliss. Soon it was evening, the charming time when the cows returned from the fields. Having rested well, he felt happy and content. After coming to the Goshala, he directed the cowherds in milking the cows and caring for them. Since Sri Krishna and Balaram were quite young, they still needed their mother's breast milk, and the cow's milk is the best representative of breast milk. Sri Vrajaraj first asked for some excellent white rock candy to be brought from the house. After distributing it to them and the other little boys like Subal, Nanda Baba began squirting nourishing cow's milk from the cow's udders directly into the brothers' mouths. Then, as they sat in the cowshed, he taught them how to make leaf cups and how to write letters on leaves. That's a neat skill, how to make leaf cups. After some time, he returned home, and in a blissful gathering, he took his evening meal with the two boys. The wise elderly gopis, who adorned their respective dynasties like jewels or goddesses of wealth, always desired Sri Vrajaraj's happiness. Therefore, after he had finished his meal, they approached him along with Sri Rohini and said, "O king, Krishna's mother has not eaten anything all day, nor has she spoken with anyone. Seeing her condition, all the maids and other gopis have also been sitting silently, and they also have not eaten anything." Sri Vrajaraj was both sorry and amused. "What can I do?" he asked. She herself can see the detrimental effect of submitting to her anger. At this, tears began streaming down the gopis' faces, and they sobbed, "Oh no, she is so soft, internally and externally. Hearing these painful words of yours, she'll become even more aggrieved." Smiling, Śrī Vrajraj asked his son, "My dear boy, do you want to go to your mother?" Shri Krishna promptly responded, "No, no, I will stay with you only." Giggling, the wife of Śrī Vrajraja's elder brother, Śrī Upananda, questioned him, "If you are only ever with father, whose breast milk will you drink?" "I will drink warm squirts of cow's milk mixed with rock candy," Krishna replied. "With whom will you play?" all the gopis asked. "I'll play with father and my brother too," he answered. Śrī Vrajraj then asked, "Why don't you go to your brother's mother, Rohini?" Tears welled up in Krishna's eyes, and he angrily said, "She was not there for me when I needed her." At this, tearful-eyed Śrī Rohini spoke gently, "My dear son, why are you so harsh? Your mother is in so much anguish." Krishna pretended to not hear her words, and with moist eyes simply gazed at the face of his father. Upon the motioning of Śrī Rohini, Balaram ran forward and seized Krishna's hand. Balaram ran forward and seized Krishna's hand to bring him to her. But he wrestled out of Balaram's grip and ran back to his father's lap and tightly hugged him. While on the lap of Vrajraj, he stood up and draped his arms around his father's neck. Krishna gazed into his eyes, which were now releasing a stream of tears, and absolutely captivated his father. Śrī Vrajraj knew that really Krishna dearly loved his mother from the core of his heart. To unearth that inner love, he raised his hand and said, If you tell me to, I will beat your mother." Shri Krishna could not tolerate this and tightly grabbed his father's arm with both hands. This made Nanda Baba laugh. Because he had the inherent Vatsalya bhav of being a father, he compassionately thought of the condition of Mother Yashoda's heart and said, "Son, what will you do if your mother just..." In this statement, Shri Nanda Maharaj jokingly implied the word that means the opposite of lives. Shri Krishna had the nature of a child, and therefore he became overwhelmed for want of his mother. With tear-filled eyes, he said, "Where is mother? I am going to her!" In this anxiety, he stumbled into Rohini's arms, and a din arose as everyone began to laugh. Meanwhile, Shri Rohini, who bestows supreme joy upon all, entered into the house with teary-eyed Krishna, who joyously embraced his mother. Shri Yashoda let forth deep sighs that resembled the lowing of a cow. She rested her chin on her darling child's head and began to weep. Her crying, which was full of love, completely melted her heart. Upon seeing her condition, everyone there also began to weep. The elderly gopis consoled Shri Yashoda in various ways. Gradually, her heart began to feel relief, and the charm of her face began to reappear. Shri Yashoda, the daughter of Shri Sumukha Gopa, fed her darling son her breast milk to his great delight. After this, she took her meal with the wife of Shri Upananda and the other ladies who were her greatest well-wishers. As she ate, she kept Shri Krishna and his elder brother Shri Balaram right beside her. Shri Yashoda felt so utterly ashamed that for 3 days she did not come before the eyes of Shri Vrajraj. Finally, Shri Bal-Gopal, who always carries out his father's orders, personally brought her before him, pulling her by her upper cloth. Also, from that day onward, the ladies of Vraj jokingly and blissfully began calling Shri Krishna Damodar and remarking, "Ah, this is our same enchanting blue boy, Shri Shyam Manohar." Although Shri Yashoda repeatedly witnesses Shri Krishna's superhuman majesty, this majesty never even slightly affects her vatsalya or her motherly affection for him. Which scholar on earth is really able to praise her? Shri Shukadev Goswami has even stated that what to speak of others, Shri Brahma, Shri Shankar, and Shri Lakshmi have failed to achieve even 100th of the satisfaction and happiness of what Shri Bala-Mukunda, he who bestows liberation, has awarded Shri Yashoda. In other words, from the perspective of bhakti, Shri Brahma, Shri Shankar, and Shri Lakshmi have failed to achieve even a small fraction of a fraction of Shri Yashoda's bhakti. Srila Shukadeva Goswami has thoroughly disclosed the splendors of Sri Shukadeva Goswami has thoroughly disclosed the splendorous fame of Shri Yashoda, which reverberates like a drum throughout the three worlds. The Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.20 and other scriptures verify this. At this point, Shri Balaram turns to his younger brother, Shri Krishna, and excitedly remarked, "Do you remember when we used to live in Mahavan Gokul?" Krishna smiled. Yes, we had so much fun sporting. We had such fun sporting there. Snigdhakanta then concluded the day's narration. O King of the cowherders, your divine son is so amazing. He was even able to make twin Arjuna trees his dedicated devotees. The author, Sri Jīva Goswami, comments, as all the members of the assembly returned to their respective homes after hearing Sri Damodar Lila, they felt as if they had directly witnessed the festive pastime. Okay, now we're reaching the next day. I think this is the Yamala-arjuna-mocanam. Let's see. Yes, okay. So, the next day, while seated amidst that effulgent assembly, Shri Vrajaraj asked, My dear son Snigdhakanta, those 2 trees in Vraj that you mentioned used to grant all of one's cherished desires. In that way, they were like demigods. Who were these trees in their previous births? And why did they come to Vraj? Moreover, when they gave up their lives as trees, what form did they take, and where did they go? Snigdhakanta replied, Those 2 trees were the sons of Shri Shiva's friend, Shri Kubera, the king of the Yakshas. Once they behaved horrendously in front of the best of rishis, Devarshi Shri Narad. Consequently, he punished them to live as trees. This punishment was Shri Narad's extreme favor upon them, because they achieved bhakti for Shri Bhagavan. Whenever you descend to this world, they also come as twin Arjuna trees in front of your home in Mahavan. These trees later attained their ultimate destination and became the best of Shri Bhagavan's devotees. However, at present, they are illustriously situated in the abode of Premi Bhaktas, where they reveal to others the results of performing bhakti to Shri Bhagavan. Very indirectly talking about themselves. They reveal to others the results of performing bhakti to Bhagavan. In other words, yeah. His curiosity aroused, Shri Vrajaraj again inquired, Tell me frankly, son, where are they at present? At this moment, Snigdhakanta bowed his head and became silent. Then he started glaring at Madhukanta from the corners of his eyes. Shri Vraj pressed Snigdhakanta even further. Why are you embarrassed to speak? With great respect, Snigdhakanta replied, O king, what more can we say? Your distinguished self can understand anything. Shri Vrajaraj beamed. It is true that your words will merely repeat what your silence is trying to say. By your virtuous disposition, certainly we have all understood your meaning. But still, we want you to satisfy us by telling it to us yourselves. Snigdhakanta said, The twin trees are the sons of Kubera, Nala Kuvara and Manigriva, received the supreme destination of residing in Vraj in exchange for their insolence at the lotus feet of Devarshi Sri Narad, which are a shower of all types of bliss. Those two other than we, the two present before you. Hearing this with mixed feelings of curiosity and pleasure, Sri Vrajaraj and all others present began gazing at their faces and happily embraced them as if meeting them for the first time. After hearing his brother's reply to Sri Vrajaraj's inquiry, Madhukanta took the opportunity to begin that day's narration. Jai Shri Madhukanta ki, Shri Snigdhakanta ki Jai, Shri Madhukanta ki Jai, Shri Nanda Baba ki Jai, Shri Yashoda Maya ki Jai, Shri Dao Bhaya ki Jai, Shri Rohini Devi ki Jai, all the Vrajasis ki Jai, all of Krishna's friends like Subal ki Jai, Shri Dāma-bandhana-nibandhanam ki Jai, Shri Yamala-arjuna-mocanam ki Jai, Jai Shri Jīva Gosvāmipāda ki Jai, Jai Śrī Gopāla-campūḥ ki Jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jai Ho. Wow, that was no words. That was just so delightful. All right. So that officially concludes our reading of this book, Sri Damodarashtakam. And from tomorrow onwards, I don't know what I'm going to be reading now. If anybody has suggestions, I mean, I was thinking that we could just read different articles, like from Rays of the Harmonists. There's so many amazing articles in Rays of the Harmonists. So, and there are going to be so many appearance days and disappearance days and festivals from now onwards. So actually, I think we'll have quite a lot to read. Yeah, so never mind. I guess we can sing Damodarashtakam now, and then tomorrow's Govardhan Puja there, huh? Here it's the day after tomorrow. Yeah, so definitely we will read about that. And we have plenty of, it's going to be like almost every day is going to be a festival now. So, okay. I'll share my screen and then we'll sing Damodarashtakam, and then Kishore can do Jaidwani. Open recent. One second. No, it's not. Yeah, it's not tomorrow in India. Yeah, day after tomorrow. Is there more in the book? Nope, that was the end of the book. Okay, so just opening up Damodara. Okay, Sri Damodarashtakam, spoken by Satyavrat Muni, recorded in the Padma Purana by Sri Krishna Dvaipayan Vedavyas. Oops. What happened? It just disappeared. Okay. And once again, just seeing the... Okay. Okay, just getting them done. Namamishwaram Sachirananda Rupam La Satkunda Yashodabhiyo Lukhat Ladhavamanam Paramrishtam Atyam Tattodrutya Gopya Namamishvaram Sachirananda Rupam La Satkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Arodantam Muhurnetra Yugmam Mrijantam Karam Bhoja Yugnena Satanka Netra Moho Shvasakampa Virekamka Kanta Stita Kraivadamo Dharam Bhakti Pada Namamishvaram Sachirananda Rupam Lasat Gokule Brajamanam Iti Drika Swalilabhir Ananta Kunde Svaghosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Tadiyeshitargesho Bhaktarjitatvam Puna Prema Tastam Shatavriti Vande Namamishvaram Sachirananda Rupam Lasatkunda Lam Gokule Brajamanam Varam Deva Moksham Namokshava Dengva Onachanyam Preneham Varesharapiha Oidam Teva Purnata Gopāla-balam Sada me manasya virastam kimanai Namamishvaram Sachirananda Rupam Lasatkunda Lam Gokule Brajamanam Idam te mukham bojam avyakta nilai Vritam kuntalai snigdha raktaishcha gopya Mohushchum vittam bimba raktatarane Manasya virastam alalakshalabha Namamishvaram Sachirananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam Namadeva Dāma-bandhana-nibandhanam Vishnu Prasira Prabhutuka Chalaktimagnam Kripadrishti Vrishtati Dina Patanu Grihani Shamamagyam Edakshi Vishnu Namamishvaram Sachirananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam Kuberatmajo Padamurtai Vayarvat Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha Tatha Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodare Namamishvaram Sachirananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam Oh Namaste Stutame Spuradipti धामे त्वदीयतरायथ विश्वसधाने नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय ओ नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय ओ नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय ओ नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय ओ नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय देवाय तु नमो अनन्तलीलाय देवाय राधा दामोदर 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 राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधे जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधे जय यशोदा दामोदर यशोदा दामोदर यशोदा दामोदर यशोदा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल श्री निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल जय किशोर कृतु जयध्वनि
जय सप्रकार श्री श्री गुरु गौरंग कन्न हरि का गिरिधरि राधा विनोर बिहरि राधा नयनाथ राधा बिहरि राधा माधव श्री श्री सचिनानंद गौर हरि राधा दमदार जीव की जय श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जीव की जय जय नित्य लील प्रविष्टों विष्णुपार परमहंस सबरी ब्रजचार्य वर्या स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति विज्ञान शिल भरति गोस्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रिय व्रजचार्य वर्या स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्तिवेदांत शरणनारायण गोस्वामी महाराज पतित पावन गुरुदेव की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति बल तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्तिवेदांत शल वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्तिवेदांत विक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्तिदयितमार गोस्वामी परम गुरु महाराज की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव शिलाचार्य केसरी की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान श्री वर्षभाना विदयित दास शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद महापरम भगवत परवार परमहंस स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान गौर किशोर दास पबजी महाराज की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद सप्तम गोस्वामी स्तोत्रस्त शिशुमान सचिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाशय की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वभौम अष्टोत्रस्त शिशुमान जगन्नाथ दास पबजी महाराज की जय सूर्या कुंडवासी सिद्धा शिल मधुसूदन दास पबजी महाराज की जय श्री उर्वदास उदरन दास की जय गुरु ग्रंथाचार्य शिशुमान बलिदेव देवभूषण प्रभु की जय। महामहोपाध्याय ऋषिक शिरोमणि शिल विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पार की जय। शिल राधरमन चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। श्री गंगा नारायण चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। श्री कृष्ण चरण चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। श्री गंगा नारायण चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। श्री शिल रसकानंद मुरारी प्रभु की जय। श्री शिल रामचंद्र कविराज की जय। श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय। शिल नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर महाशय। श्रीनिवासाचार्य श्यामानंद पंडित प्रभुतराय की जय। शिशुमार कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। यशवतारिका विशुल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर महाशय की जय। श्री अष्ट कविराज कुसुर जानव नित्यानंद तुलसी गोपाल श्री चौषति महंत की जय। जय श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ। श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ सर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर रय रमानंद लोकनाथ पुगर्भ अदि गौर परिषद वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य शिशिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। शिशिल ईश्वरपुरी गोस्वामी पाद की जय। शिशिल मारविंद्रपुरी गोस्वामी पाद की जय। श्री अंतरदेव मायपुर सिमनदेव गौतमदेव मध्यदेव बलदेव ऋतुदेव जानदेव माधुर्यदेव रुद्रादेव मानमका श्री नवदेव धाम की जय। श्री एक चक्र धाम की जय। श्री शांतिपुर धाम की जय। श्री गौर चंद्र भगवान की जय। श्री श्री गौर गदाधर की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्णा गोपीनाथ गोपी गोपा गो गिरि गोवर्धन वृषभ वनान माक श्री ब्रजमंडल धाम की जय। श्री गोकुल महावान की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंग सखी यमुना सखी तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। उजेश्वरी ब्रजेश्वरी वृषभानुनंदिनी तप्त कंचन गौरंगी श्री राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय। श्री ललिता विशाखा चित्र चंपकलट तुंग विद्या इंदुलेख रंगदेवी सुदेवी आदि सत्य वृंद की जय। श्री अनंग प्रेम मंजुलाली श्री रूप लवंगा राग विलस गुणरति कस्तूरी कमल नयन मणि आदि मंजारी वृंद की जय। श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भगवती पूर्णमासी उमाई देवी की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर शिव महादेव की जय। जय राधा पटन की धाम श्री वृंदावन की जय। गोपीश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र नीलमाधव जीव की जय। श्री तत्व गोपीनाथ की जय। श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय। सर्वा विघ्ना विनाशन करे भक्त विघ्ना विनाश सुरेंद्र सिंह देव की जय। भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्री प्रहलाद लक्ष्मेंद्र सिंह देव की जय। श्री चरिराम चरि संप्रदाय चर्यचार की जय। श्री मतवार मनोज विष्णु स्वामी नंबित चर्यचार की जय। आकर मतरा श्री चैतन्य मार की जय। श्री गौरीमार विनंद की जय। ग्रंथरा श्रीमार भगवताम भगवद्गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत जैव धर्म आदि सर्व गौरी वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन धर्म की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलियुग ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे महामंत्र की जय। श्री आनंदपुरी वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री समगत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री दिवाली की जय। श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा धमदार जीव की जय। श्री श्री राधा धमदार जीव की जय। श्री यशोद दमदार जीव की जय। श्री यशोद दमदार बाल गोपाल की जय। श्याम मनोहर धमदार श्री कृष्ण चंद्र मकन चौर की जय। जय उच्चेश्वरी ब्रजेश्वरी वृषभानुनंदिनी कार्तिका देवी दमोदरी श्रीमती राधिका महारानी की जय। जय श्री ललिता विशाखा आदि सखी वृंद की जय। जय श्री रूपरती आदि मंजारी वृंद की जय। जय श्री गोकुल महावान की जय। श्री नंद महाराज की जय। श्री यशोद मैया की जय। श्री वृषभानुभव की जय। श्री कीर्तिदा मैया की जय। श्री रोहिणी मैया की जय। श्री धाव भैया की जय। श्री भलदेव प्रभु की जय। Shri Subal Madhumangal Adi Sakka Vrind ki jai, Shri Nalakubera ki jai, Shri Manigreva ki jai, Shri Yamala-arjuna ki jai, Jai Shri Dāma-bandhana Leela ki jai, Shri Dāma-bandhana Leela ki jai, Jai Shri Snigdha ki jai, Shri Madhu ki jai, Śrī Gopāla-campūḥ ki jai, Śrī Gopāla-campūḥ ki jai, Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmipāda ki jai, Tattva Siddhanta Charidev, Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmipāda ki jai, Tattva Siddhanta Charidev, Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmipāda ki jai, Shri Kartik Maas ki jai, Shri Dhammadhar Maas ki jai, Shri Digdarshini Hitika Vashla, Shri Digdarshini Hitika Vashla Snan Goswami ki jai, Shri Digdarshini Priti Vashla Gurudev ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Vrindai Tulasi Devi Ai Priyai Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha. Pancha Kalpataru Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hare Krishna. Alright, so thank you so much for joining. Pranams, Niri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Krishna Mai Didi, Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Champak Mataji, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook all who is there. One second. Karuna Didi, Ganga Mataji, Raj Bhuvan Yadav ji, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantra Murti Mataji, Vidya Lalasa Didi, and a bunch of others. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So I'll see you all tomorrow to read about Deepavali. And then the day after that, we'll read all about Anukut Mahamahotsav. And yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I remember hearing a pastime a long time ago. I don't remember where anymore. And it was about Param Gurudev. And that some devotee went to Param Gurudev and asked Param Gurudev, how does the Damodar Leela represent or show Vatsalya Ras? I don't quite remember what the exact question was. And Param Gurudev just began weeping. And then he said, it doesn't. And then Param Gurudev said that when Mother Yashoda was trying to bind Krishna, Param Gurudev was explaining how the rope was always 2 inches too short. And he said at that time, Srimati Radhika was walking by, and she was a young girl at that time. Maybe she was like 3 years old. And Srimati Radhika saw Mother Yashoda, and she asked, Mother Yashoda, what are you doing? And Mother Yashoda said, oh, I'm trying to bind naughty Krishna. He's been breaking butter pots and stealing butter. So I'm going to bind him. But all the rope that I'm getting, it's too short. So I'm collecting different types of rope. And Srimati Radhika, she had a little string in her hair that she had tied. So Srimati Radhika, she took the string that she was using to tie her hair, and she gave it to Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda used it to bind Krishna, and that was what caused Krishna to be bound.
You said Param Gurudev told this story.
Param Gurudev told this story. Have you heard it?
Never heard of it.
Wow. Me either.
Yeah.
If you ever find this, like the where it's from, let me know.
Yeah, I'm actually asking if anyone knows or has heard of this pastime before.
You can't remember when you heard it, huh?
No, it's
No.
Yeah, because it's not in Param Gurudev's biography. Maybe some Vaishnava was telling us. Yeah.
Right. Perhaps came from Gurudev, Srila Narayana Maharaj, but we
maybe
don't.
Gurudev. I don't know.
Time. Yeah, first time here.
Very interesting. All right, so that is the reading for today. I'll see if anybody has anything more to say, but then we can say it now. Otherwise, so I'll end the stream now.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji Madhukar. That's such a wonderful reading. Amazing. So all glories to assembled devotees.
All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, Hari Bol.